In this video, you'll discover an in-depth look at what's really happening to our bodies when we're fasting. When most people think about any type of fasting, they think about it in the way of losing weight, they think about it in the way of reversing insulin resistance, but what they don't think about it is how it can have a profound impact on your entire body and help you reverse many conditions that you may be facing. The thing is that fasting is going to really have a profound impact on not only a cellular level, but also it's going to really change the way that your organs are functioning. And it potentially is going to save your life if you're someone who's prone to cancer and heart disease and many things that people are dying from today. So that's why in this video, we're going to talk about what really happens to our bodies when we fast. So stick around to the end of this video, but before we get started, I'm Dr. Zyrowski and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it's a pleasure to have you here. Be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and join our notification community. That way it can help you excel your health and your life. Now, I also want to say that we are doing a 3-day group water fast. If you want to join or participate in that, what you can do is download the link in the description below. What I have down there is a fasting framework that's going to help walk you through this 3-day water fast. At the time this video is released, we are going to be kickstarting it the day after. So if you haven't seen that we're doing this yet, download that link and participate in it. We'd love to have you join us on this 3-day water fast so that you can get the benefits we're about to talk about right here. Now, when we look at fasting, like I said, incredible benefits that it has to offer. One of the things it's going to do is it's going to make changes to our body at a cellular level. First thing it's going to do is it's going to go and start breaking down the white blood cells. Okay, so when we're fasting, these white blood cells start to break down, the old broken down ones start to break down, this process of autophagy kicks in, and then what happens is this gives our immune system the ability to reset, okay? Now, speaking of the immune system, there's many people who are suffering from autoimmune conditions. Whether you're talking about things like thyroid conditions, whether you're talking about arthritis, a lot of people have serious autoimmune conditions. And so a lot of times when these autoimmune conditions flare up, they go to the doctors, they're getting steroids, they're getting all kinds of different things. But what they really have to do is they have to really reset the immune system. They have to calm the body down. Fasting is an incredible way to do it. And so when you start fasting, you're going to get that white blood cell breakdown, and you're also going to see the body kick in and start a stem cell based regeneration process. Okay, this is how you reset your immune system. So if you're somebody who is finding that you're becoming more sensitive to foods, you're more sensitive to just things all around you. If you come in contact with different exposures to different foods, chemicals, whatever, and you're constantly having flare-ups, what you want to do is you want to utilize fasting to reset your immune system, and it's going to really help. And typically you'll know, I mean, a lot of people start to become very sensitive to their environment, start to develop a whole bunch of allergies. Fasting is powerful, especially during the allergy season. And so it's going to help boost up those stem cells, get that regeneration going, and it's going to also help decrease inflammation. And I can't tell you how powerful this is, because when you decrease inflammation, you really are providing your body with the opportunity to thrive. Okay, a lot of these conditions, these major killers that are just destroying people's lives, when we look at cancer, heart disease, they all start with a chronic inflammatory issue. When you use fasting, you start dampening that inflammation. It's very powerful. And like I said, fasting can actually save your life. I mean, I'm someone, if you've done genetic testing, you really know what's going on with your body, and you're going to know that if you're more prone to cancer, if you're more prone to heart disease, all these different things. I'm much more prone to blood cancer, interestingly enough. So I have to utilize fasting in order to make sure that I avoid these different future afflictions. And so fasting's very powerful for avoiding all these chronic diseases and also resetting your immune system, kicking in that autophagy process, longevity, you name it. Let's go ahead and talk about the next thing here, and that's liver health. And what I'm going to try to do is touch on some of the major problems people are facing: heart disease, cancer, touch on liver health, okay? Liver health is a big problem right now. There's a ton of people who are facing problems like fatty liver. Now, one of the things that's great about the liver is it's a very regenerative organ. Recently I had a patient who had to undergo this process because they had liver cancer, where they got a huge portion of their liver removed. And I was like, wow, okay, well, what do they expect to happen with you? What's going on with it? And he said, well, they expect it to be able to be fully regenerated in just a couple months. And I was like, wow, I do know that the liver regenerates, but it's also crazy to think like, wow, you're going to get almost more than half of your liver removed, and it's just going to grow back and regenerate. Really cool. So The liver is a highly regenerative organ, so that's why, no matter how bad your liver health is, you always want to focus on improving it. You don't ever want to give up on it because the liver has an incredible ability to regenerate. So a very regenerative organ. When we're fasting, it's going to focus on healing, it's going to focus on repairing, and it's going to focus on detoxing. The liver is the organ that supports all other organs, okay? It's purifying the blood. It is doing so much to remove toxins and harmful waste from your body. The liver is incredibly important. So when you're fasting and it gets a chance to kind of relax and do the job it's supposed to do, it's going to have the ability to detox and really thrive. Now, the other thing that's going to happen when you're fasting is you're going to be able to get a lot of those fatty deposits removed. Okay, like I said, a lot of people are suffering from fatty liver. It's 100 million people plus that's suffering. It's estimated to be the #1 reason that people are going to having to get liver transplants. So when we do fasting, it helps remove those fatty deposits from the liver, and that's incredibly powerful. So it's going to really improve your liver health, and fasting is great for that. Now, I also want to mention that when we talk about all these different abilities that fasting has on your body in order to increase your health, they're all going to happen at different time frames, okay? So for instance, if you're intermittent fasting, you're really going to get some daily minor positive health benefits. If you're doing 1 meal a day, it'll increase a little bit more. If you're doing like a 3-day water fast or a 7-day water fast, you're going to get like the full-blown positive impact that this has to offer. So especially when it comes to liver health, it's going to be right around those 3-day fasts, those 7-day fasts that are really going to have a positive impact on your body. Not saying that intermittent fasting, like a 16 and 8, isn't going to offer you these great benefits as well. It's just that when you get into the higher end fasting, it's just really pushes the envelope a little bit and gives you better results. Now, let's talk about glycogen, ketones, and fat loss. Okay, like I said, a lot of people go and they talk about fasting in the way of fat loss because that's what they're looking for. And that's great, and it's a really great tool for losing weight as well. So what's going to happen when you're fasting is you're going to burn through your glycogen stores, okay? And this is one of those abilities that just a 16 and 8 fast will offer you. And so you're going to burn through those glycogen stores. It's typically like 10 to 12 hours that it will take to burn through your glycogen stores. And one of the things I want to mention here too is that when you hear different people talk about this online, you'll hear different hours. You're going to hear 18 hours and 24 hours, whatever it is. But the truth is it really depends on the individual. Like, what's your physical activity? Are you exercising during your fast? What's your diet like? Are you, in your eating hours, are you eating a really low quality, high sugar, high carb diet? All these different factors come into play. So that's why when you hear some people say, well, it takes 10 to 12 hours to burn through your glycogen stores, some people say 18, 24, whatever number they're giving you, it's because it really is based on the individual. And so you'll see the variables there, but don't get confused with it. It's just those are the variables that we're dealing with here. So you're going to burn through your glycogen stores, and you're going to stop using the glucose. You're going to stop using that sugar for energy. As a result, you're going to enter into the state of ketosis, okay? Your body's going to turn into a fat-burning machine. So essentially what happens is these glycogen stores, your body will run on them, that stored sugar, and then once they run out, you go and you start burning fat for energy, and you're going to burn those ketones, okay? And so as you're burning those ketones, it's considered to be a cleaner fuel. It has a ton of health benefits. So if you're burning fat for energy, you're getting those ketones, they're going to your brain. They're very healthy for your brain. It's a very, very efficient fuel for your entire body, but it's also a healthy fuel. A lot of people who suffer severe conditions, whether it be cancer, whether it be problems like Alzheimer's, whether it be dementia, whether it be epilepsy, it doesn't matter. All these different conditions, people thrive when they get their body in a state of ketosis and they get the benefit those ketones have to offer. And so you're going to lose weight in a great way when you're doing fasting. Intermittent fasting, you're going to get some great results. 16 and 8, 1 meal a day, you'll get better results. 3-day fast, 7-day fast, you'll get even more incredible results. So consider that. Let's talk about metabolism reset, okay? Now, when we consider fasting and the profound impact it has on your metabolism, it's really incredible. Let's talk about a couple different metabolic hormones here, and we'll talk about more of the surface level ones, all right, not the really in-depth ones. So let's talk about insulin first, okay? Insulin is this hormone that basically is going to put the sugar that's floating around in the bloodstream into the cell, okay? So that's very important. leptin is going to be the hormone that tells your body that you are full, okay? So if you're someone who's eating, leptin basically is stimulated, it goes to your brain, it says, hey, you're full, stop eating. Now, ghrelin is a hormone that essentially tells you you're hungry all the time, okay? So now that we have a basic understanding here, we got insulin putting sugar into the cell, leptin that's telling you when you're full, and ghrelin telling you that you're hungry, let's talk about fasting and how it actually is important for your metabolism. So first of all, it's important for hormone balance. When we look at insulin, for instance, if your insulin level is just shot through the roof and you're constantly spiking your blood sugar and insulin is just working overtime, it's going to be really high. And as a result, it's going to constantly store fat. When we're fasting, it's going to help balance it out. Okay, so a lot of these people get in this negative cycle where they're just constantly boosting up that insulin level. Fasting brings it down because it brings down your blood sugar, and it's going to create a lot of hormone balance, and it's going to create like a reset there. Now, the other thing that leptin is important for, like I said, is it's going to tell you when you are full, is if you have this hormone and is not working correctly, essentially what starts to happen, unfortunately these hormones work backwards, right? When leptin's really efficient, it's telling you you're full. When it's not efficient, it's not telling you you're full. So when you get an imbalance in leptin, essentially you're going to find that you're hungry all the time. And that's that negative feedback cycle that you get when you start adding a lot of carbs and sugar into your life. Now, ghrelin is that hormone that's going to constantly tell you you're hungry, okay? Because that one's going to skyrocket, and you're going to go, oh, we're hungry. And so then you eat some carbs and sugar, oh, we're hungry, So constantly pushing you to eat far more calories than you want to consume on a daily basis. Now, the other thing we're going to find is fasting is going to help improve the sensitivity to these hormones because it's driving down inflammation. One of the things that happens with diabetics is that, there's many mechanisms that happen with type 2 diabetics, but one of the things that happens is that insulin isn't heard, okay? So insulin goes and it starts to want to put the blood sugar into the cell. It knocks on the door to put the sugar into the cell, but then it can't get in, okay? The cell receptors are inflamed and it just can't work correctly. And then for leptin, essentially what's going to happen is you constantly are going to want to eat because you're not getting that signal that you're full. And so we have a sensitivity problem. That hormone can't be heard. And then of course ghrelin too, that thing just keeps telling everybody that you're hungry. So if these hormones can't be heard and they're not functioning correctly, then as a result, you are going to just spiral into a weight gain issue. You're going to spiral into a problem where you're just constantly craving more sugar, more carbs. And so we want to make sure that we're resetting our metabolism. When people are going into the state of ketosis because they're fasting, essentially what happens is that, all these hormones start to reset, they start to lose all their cravings they were having, and the body works so much more efficiently. You're gonna start losing weight, and you're gonna feel so much better. And so we wanna make sure that we use fasting to our benefit in this case. Now let's talk about brain health. Now this is a big problem for a lot of people. There's a lot of people who are suffering from serious psychological disorders, okay? And you might think, okay, well, psychological disorders as in, somebody's crazy, but it's not that far in depth, right? How many people have anxiety issues? How many people are suffering from depression? How many people, just are making poor choices in their life because of their brain health, okay? There was an individual that I worked with, and I constantly was telling them, because they had an autoimmune condition, look, your brain is massively inflamed, you have to do something about it. In the meantime, they were suffering from severe depression and anxiety. It started flaring up to the point where, when I first met them, things were great in their life. Towards the end of when I was taking care of them, they had lost their job, they were just, struggling with their family life, the whole deal, okay? So this is just somebody who had an autoimmune condition, severe inflammation, chronic inflammatory of the brain, but they didn't think that any of the things I was talking about in the way of, inflammatory conditions and autoimmunity could have an impact on any of the stuff that they were experiencing, so they didn't really want to listen. But when we look at brain health issues, many people are suffering. Fasting can really help dampen inflammation in the brain. It also can do a lot of other things. It's going to help increase brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This is basically going to stimulate this protein within the brain, and this brain-derived neurotrophic factor is very important for neuronal repair and the growth of synapses and also the repair of synapses. So it's really, really important. So when we do fasting, it increases BDNF. Now, the other thing that happens when we fast is it's going to help increase mitochondrial numbers. Okay, this is incredibly important for the increased ability to focus, learn, and also retain information. So fasting has a profound impact on the brain health, and we definitely want to utilize it because a lot of people, like I said, are suffering from psychological problems, brain health issues. I mean, literally over the past 2 years, I've implemented an incredible amount of brain work into my programs and also what I'm doing clinically, because so many people are suffering from these issues. Of course, what they do is go and get on a whole bunch of mind-altering drugs, and it causes further problems for them in many cases. So we have to be aware of this and understand that fasting can help with our brain health. The other thing here is heart health, okay? Now, fasting is incredibly powerful for our heart health. One of the things it's going to do is it's going to help lower our blood pressure. It's going to help reduce cholesterol. It's also going to reverse type 2 diabetes and lose weight. Now, what does reversing type 2 diabetes and lose weight have to do with heart health? It has a lot to do with heart health, because these are the 4 main factors that basically determine whether or not you're going to have heart disease one day. So if we can reduce these factors, then essentially we're going to improve our heart health greatly. The other thing we're going to do here is we're going to decrease inflammation. Now, the other thing that we have to really be aware of is that when we have a chronic inflammatory issue, as it pertains to cardiovascular health, it's really important to make sure that we're decreasing it, because if we have a chronic inflammatory issue and it's causing an oxidation of all this cholesterol within our arteries, then essentially you're going to start forming clots, you're going to have some major issues, increase your risk of stroke, heart attack, the whole deal. So we want to make sure that we're using fasting in order to improve our heart health, because it works very well. And like I mentioned, we're going to mention the organs that many people have major issues with. Heart disease and early death from a heart attack and heart-related issues is one of the major killers that many people face, right? One of the top ones. Let's talk about gut health, because gut health is a major problem for a lot of people as well, and fasting helps with it. Some of the things that you're going to find is that, first of all, the gut health is incredibly important for not only your gut, right? I mean, for digestion, for metabolism, but also for hormone health, sex hormones, for how your brain's functioning, the neurotransmitters in your brain, for every aspect of your health. This is why so many people find that their skin clears up when they're fasting, because their gut health is improving, their immune system is resetting, and as a result, it really shows on the surface level, and that is your skin. It also is going to help reset your gut microflora when you're fasting. Okay, this is incredibly powerful. And so this is important because a lot of people get bacterial overgrowth. I talked about this all this time on this channel because a lot of people have this. I've actually had this in the past where you get a bacterial overgrowth into the small intestines where this bacteria shouldn't be. It causes a lot of problems. It causes a breakdown in the gut lining. It causes problems with enzymes. It causes a problem with alkalinity. I mean, it goes across the board, causing mass chaos in your gut. The other thing that is going to happen is it's going to help create diversity in your flora. Okay, this is important because a lot of people will have very non-diverse flora, and it's not good for gut health if that's an issue. So they basically found that if you, let's say for instance, if you were going to do a gut test, you would find that if you took it before fasting and then you took it after like a 3-day fast, it would really show major diversity, which is cool. It also is going to help kill pathogenic bacteria. That's what they found too with fasting, is that a lot of people start to develop this pathogenic bacteria, which is not good for our gut health, and fasting helps kill that off. The gut has an incredible ability to balance, as you can see, as it's diversifying, it's resetting that gut microflora while you're fasting. It's going to help repair the gut lining, okay? One of the things that happen is people are just grazing all day long. People are grazing. They're eating 3 meals a day with a lot of snacks in between. It never gives your digestive system, your gut lining, the chance to repair and restore. It never gives the gut the chance to heal. So that's why fasting is incredible for this. And it also is going to help decrease inflammation. Okay, a lot of people have inflammatory bowel disease. They have so many different inflammatory problems within the gut. It's just causing mass chaos with their whole body. The other thing that's important to understand is that gastrointestinal cancer is supposed to be the #1 killer of the generation coming up now. So we have to take that into consideration. Now, like I said, when we look at all these different benefits that we can get from fasting, we're going to get benefits from intermittent fasting. We're going to get benefits from 1 meal a day. And if you're doing intermittent fasting and 1 meal a day on a daily basis, that's great. It's really going to help give you these benefits. Now, a couple times a year, what you want to do is throw in a 3-day fast, and then even throw in a 7-day fast 1 to 2 times a year, and it's incredibly beneficial so you can get these results. So give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends, put in the comments section below your experience with fasting, how it's helped you improve your health. And I really hope to see you in the group fast. And then finally, check out this video over here on all the things that you need to implement today in order to lose weight. Check this out. The first strategy is going to be putting yourself into a calorie deficit. This is one that people really have a big interest in and one that people ask me about a lot.